What's up guys, it's Matt from TDM Style here and welcome back to the channel for another review, and this week we are finally having a look at the matte paste from Apothecary 87. So I've had basically the whole range of the Apothecary 87 products for about a month and a half or so now, and the matte paste was actually the very first one that I cracked into and used, so I've been meaning to review this for quite a while. So let's not waste any time and get right into it with packaging. So like all their other hairstyling products, they come in these little cardboard boxes, and on the outside of the box you've got the ingredients and the directions, and then on the inside of the box, of course, you have your amber plastic jar with the aluminum lid and the stick-on labeling. And like many other pomades, this comes in at 3.38 fluid ounces or 100 mils. So on the outside of the box on this one here, it says superior matte finish, reworkable hold 60 proof. So it's the same hold rating that they gave their clay pomade. So I guess we can equate that to about like a medium to medium firm. So as I mentioned with the clay pomade, I like the packaging. I mean, it's very like standard pomade jar. I mean, amber plastic with the lid and the stickers. But I like their stickers. I like the kind of vintage look to it. It's very like sepia color scheme. Yeah, nothing too special, but I think it's pretty good. All right, next up is the scent. Now they're calling the scent on this Mogul, and it says on the outside of the box, no, it says on the outside of the jar that that's a marshmallow scent, and that's exactly what it is. I think it smells really fucking good. It just kind of smells like a toasted marshmallow. Like it's kind of sweet. Well, actually, it's quite sweet. It's not super strong. I find that I catch a whiff of it every now and again throughout the day, but I don't mind it because I really enjoy the smell. But yeah, basically toasted marshmallow. It's definitely a unique smell, if nothing else. I've never smelled another men's hair care product that had like a marshmallow type fragrance to it. All right, now let's take a brief look at the ingredients. So I will have the entire list down below or possibly on the screen for you. So this is a water-based matte paste. We've got aqua in the first spot, followed by bentonite clay. Then we've got some copolymer and a couple compounds. Then we've got Sarah Alba beeswax, lanolin wax, and liquid paraffin. Got a few more polymers and some castor oil and other things. So typical stuff that we're used to seeing in these type of products. All right, now let's open up the jar, take a look at the scoop and the breakdown. So when you open up the jar, you'll see this very kind of gray tone, creamy looking paste. It's a paste, and scooping it out is very easy. It's quite soft and creamy, and it breaks down nice, and it doesn't really feel sticky, although when you start to emulsify it in your hands, you will feel the dryness start to come out. All right, now we're gonna move over to the demo footage so we can see how it actually applies into my hair, how it styles, how the finish and the hold are, and how it lasts throughout the day. Now I've got a couple of different demos. So this first one is styling it into blow-dried hair as the instructions on the box recommend. So if you actually look at those directions, it says for a dry matte hold, apply to hair after blow drying. Rub a fingerful of matte paste between your hands and rub into your hair. Ensure you get the matte paste into the roots of the hair to get the maximum effect. Once evenly coated, style as desired. So that's exactly what I've done for this first demo here, and as you can see, it does apply to the hair pretty easily. I really have very little tug or pull at first, although I will say that this stuff dries really fast. So when they say a dry matte finish, they are not fucking around. It is a dry matte finish. So for me, that does translate into a bit of that kind of dry, tangly ends feeling. So you will see probably a little bit in this footage here of how my fingers kind of get stuck at the ends of my strands a little bit, which is a little bit uncomfortable, although that's nothing not to be expected. I mean, this is something that usually happens to me with any type of dry matte product. Now, I will say what I found when applying this to dry hair is that it's very, very lightweight, so it's easy to get some pretty big volume, although it feels very light in the hold department as well. As you can see, I have a lot of movement still in my hair, so I actually ended up going in with a total of 3 pretty full-size scoops here for the finished result. Now, layering it in didn't really seem to add any extra weight to my hair or anything. It still felt very light, although, to be honest, it didn't really feel like there was much of a hold in there still. So we can see here at the 4-hour mark that we have lost a bit of that initial volume, and the hold is mostly holding the shape, but it is starting to fall out a little bit. As far as the reworkable hold that they've got on the outside of the box, the pliability, it's pretty decent. You can run your fingers through it and get it basically back into shape. Although I found that it seems like the more you play with it throughout the day, that does kind of drop off the hold and volume even more, which we can see here at the 8-hour mark. So I've been fixing it a number of times throughout the day as the left side kind of kept falling out of place. And so you can see at this point, the volume is even lower. And while the texture and the finish hasn't changed, it's still very matte. It's got a nice clay type texture to it. It definitely does look quite a bit different than it looked after the initial styling. So to be honest, the dry hair styling results were a bit confusing to me because if you remember from my clay pomade review, I mentioned that the first time I used this, I was like blown away at how amazing it worked, and it was like super strong hold, big volume that stayed in. And I was like, why is that not happening now? And it dawned on me that the first time that I cracked it open and used it, I didn't use it on clean hair. I used it like on second day hair that already had some kind of oilier product in it. So it seems to work a little bit better for me in that sense. But I did also test this into damp hair before blow drying, as I find that matte pastes seem to generally work well in that way. So that's what we've got this second demo here. I just put one single, fingertip size scoop into damp hair, blow dried it into place. Now it is a little bit, dry and sticky when you're working the brush through it. So definitely be, gentle with your brush as you're doing that. But once it's totally dry, I found that this styling method has a lot less of that dry, tangly ends feeling. It still has the same lightness and texture as it would if you just applied it to dry hair, but for me, I found that this seemed to kind of increase the hold somehow. Like I only needed really one scoop to achieve the same amount of hold as 3 scoops on already dried hair. Now the volume does still taper off a bit throughout the day with this method as well, but that's really nothing to be expected with a kind of medium to medium firm hold product. Now, as far as the washout on this is a straightforward and simple one. It comes straight out with just a water rinse for me, no problem at all. Now, as far as the price, if you're in the UK and you're getting this right from the Apothecary 87 website, it comes in at £15. And if you're in the US, you can get it from some distributors like Fleek Fellows, and they have it for $18. All right, so overall thoughts on the Apothecary 87 matte paste. It's pretty good. It's not my favorite. I'm starting to just wonder if maybe matte pastes are just not great for my hair type, because, you guys know by now I have a drier, coarser hair type as it is, so any of these like super matte, super dry products just don't work that well for me. They tend to give me that, tangly ends type of thing, but there is a lot to like here, though. As I mentioned, I like their branding and the packaging. I really like the fragrance. I think it's very unique and just smells fucking delicious. I think it applies nice and easily. It's not really sticky, although, it does get very, very dry. And I wasn't super blown away with the level of hold or pliability. It definitely is like a solid medium hold for me, but as I mentioned and as you saw in those demos, at least for my hair type, it does lose quite a bit of the volume and hold throughout the day, and the pliability for me just wasn't quite there. It is fairly easy to get your hands or comb through it and rework it, but it doesn't seem to hold that shape again, so it just kind of keeps falling back out, and so you keep messing with it, and then that in turn just makes the hold and volume drop off even more. But with all that being said, I think that if you're a person with finer hair or like straighter hair that's a little bit lighter than mine, I think this would probably be pretty fucking boss for you. But yeah, if you have like wavy, heavy, coarse hair like mine, maybe not so much. So that about wraps things up for this review, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it and found it helpful. I've got tons more coming down the pipe. I've still got like 2 pomades from these guys, a bunch of beard products, and then I've got just a shitload of other new products coming. We got some things from Cream Clay Paste, just all kinds of stuff. New stuff from Fuertes coming in. So if you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button down below and make sure to keep up to date with all those upcoming goodies. And as always, thank you guys so much for coming by and watching, and we'll see you at the next one.